Hey guys, what's up? It's Comic Saturday. Today's video, we're talking about the philosophy of combat. Okay, and this is something that maybe a lot of people don't really know too much about or don't spend much time thinking about. All right, and that is that you have to always think hit, always think attack. Okay, it's really important to understand this. A lot of people approach self-defense, um, kind of the wrong way. I mean, the term self-defense already, um, it can be kind of a misleading term because people hear that and they think, well, self-defense, I'm just going to stay right here and I'm going to protect myself. So if a punch comes in, I'm going to deal with this, and then he falls up, I'll deal with this, whatever, you know. Um, so essentially, you're talking about waiting for your opponent to make the first move, which is what a lot of people do. And you see that. You see demos that people do and things like that. And that's the wrong way of thinking. You're really handicapping yourself if you do that, okay? Because whoever is the one initiating the attack always has the advantage. All right. Now, there's a little game you can play where if you put a piece of paper on a table and you put your hand here, and someone else has their hand here, he can grab that paper before you can. Okay? And even though he has to move 2 or 3 times further than you do, he'll still get there first because it takes you a split second for your brain to send a signal to your hand to actually move. You see something and you go, and that takes you a split second. Okay, that's not that, and that makes all the difference. Even though the other guy has this much further to go, he'll still get there first. Okay, so that tells you something. All right. So if you're always the one waiting for the opponent to initiate, you're the one playing catch up with him. All right, and then he'll follow up with something else, and then you're trying to, deal with that, and then that, and then that, and it's going to be a big problem. Okay, and you're always going to be the one behind, 1 second behind. All right, so you want to be the one going first. Now, in training, we will do drills where the opponent will hit first, and we will respond to it. But that's because things don't always go according to plan, and they're not always ideal. Yes, ideally, you want to be the one to get the first hit. That's true. But you may not always get that, so you have to train for other less ideal scenarios. All right, because it's going to happen. Okay, it's just like going to the ground. Some people going to the ground in a street fight is not ideal, but if you do end up on the ground, you better know something about defending yourself on there. Okay, on the ground, because what's going to happen if you do go there, okay? You can't be so arrogant to say, oh, I'll never go to the ground. No one can take me down to the ground. No, I mean, if someone is really good, they can take you down to the ground, okay? And you have to assume that the person you're fighting is not just some bum, some idiot. You have to assume they actually know something, all right? And then if you deal with some idiot, then it's a piece of cake, right? All right, so if you look at all the techniques, you always have to think that it's a strike. So every technique you do can be either a strike, a deflection, or a joint lock. Now you look at just a simple straight punch, okay? Yes, I can punch someone, all right? I can also deflect and go over his arm, all right? If I grab his arm here, I can also do a joint lock as well, okay? So it's not only one thing, it's always several things. You have to always think in those terms, okay? All right, and that's and even if you look at something like a pak sao, for example, okay. Now Wing Chun, we do pak sao here, right? And people think defensively, oh, punch goes in, I'll pack it out of the way, and then I'll come in, okay? Well, that is already your attack. That pak sao alone is your attack, all right? Because that can easily come, palm strike or whatever. And it's happened in training numerous times where I will try and do something, like a pak sao, for example, okay, or a jump sao, whatever. But because I'm always thinking hit, always thinking attack, always thinking forward energy, it just kind of glanced off his arm, and I went in anyway, and I got a hit in the space with a palm strike. All right. Now, if I was only thinking defensively, which means I'm kind of thinking back, I'm kind of thinking of going backwards, whatever. I don't have the forward energy. Well, it's not going to work. If I miss, I'm just going to miss, and that's it. But if I'm thinking forward, if I'm thinking that my pak sao is an attack, I'm just going to come right in, and it's going to be an attack. Okay? So this all comes down to the master strategy, and I spoke about it in the book, okay, and I spoke about it many times, but anyway, it's the master strategy is close a distance, take an angle, and then fuck him up, okay? That's the strategy. Now, in a self-defense situation, closing a distance is already done for you because your opponent comes towards you. That's what self-defense, right? So what's left? Angle, right? Slightly angle somehow. You can make it subtle, right? And then you can fuck them up, whatever you want to do. Okay. If you know, so if he enters and you kind of anger yourself as he comes towards you, perfect. Then you just fuck him up already. Okay. Right? If let's say you try to hit him and he backs away, now is a gap. Now you have to close that gap. Well, again, you need to get in somehow, right? However you want to do it. There's a few ways it can be done. All right. And then once you're inside, I'm trying to close the distance, take an angle, and fuck them up. So you always want to get to this really close range on an angle. That's where you want to be, because in that range, you've got a bridge. From here, if he moves, you'll feel it, right? Punch, palm, chop, elbow, whatever, hammer fist, back fist, whatever it is, you can do your stuff, and you can feel it because you're right there. You feel it, okay? Close range combat arts, they work off the bridge, okay? Things like Wing Chun, whatever, they work off the bridge where you have that contact, okay? You want to get close. You want to always think forward, always think attack, always think hit, okay? And the only way you can hit and do that is to get right in there, all right? And that's what people, they're often too defensive when they're fighting, okay? And if you are too defensive, opportunities, like I was mentioning before, how things will just come off or whatever, or like a forearm or an elbow, you're not going to see those things. You're not going to be able to do them, all right? It's not even a matter. I don't even want to say you're seeing opportunity. It just happens by itself, all right? Like I said before, right? Things happen all the time by accident, simply because I have that forward energy. Even Even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, okay? This may sound crazy, but even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, even if you have the guts to just get in there and close that gap and just get in there, all right? Chances are pretty good that you're gonna, win. Okay, all right. There was one of my sifus a long time ago did a little demo for me where he just walked right towards me, right, and just that's it, right? Okay, so if you have the right kind of mindset, if you have the right kind of mindset and you just take the fight right to someone, just go right towards them, that alone. Like, try this out sometime. Have someone standing here and just walk right towards like this. Right? And you watch them go, oh, shit. Right? Right? And so if you got someone doing that, you already got a huge advantage. Right? You just run them over. Okay? So that's the thing. Always think hit. Every single thing you do, nothing is ever passive. Every single thing you do is a hit. And if you do have to defend, it's done to set something up. Okay? If I slip out of the way, okay, yes, I've avoided a punch, but I've also got myself closer and I've loaded myself up for this punch because I'm here, right? Boom, right? I'm loaded for that punch. Okay, I'm not just thinking, oh, I'm gonna slip now. Oh, no. You're coming in. You're rotating too. At the same time, right? You're rotating, right? That's the thing. Bang, bang, bang. You're rotating, okay? And you're loading and you're getting closer, okay? Even if you look at the Wing Chun dummy, okay, the first section, I don't know why people do this. It's really bad, but people do this. A section where you do Bong Sao, and then you come in with a tanda, okay? You come in and you get closer to your opponent. But what some people do, and I don't know where this comes from, but they'll do this, back away, big disengagement, and then come back. So as you back away, well, you're just giving your opponent a chance to come in on you. In other words, you're not thinking attack, you're not thinking forward, okay? what exactly is the purpose of backing away like that, right? You want to stick to your opponent and you want to take him out, all right? Always think hit, always think attack, always think aggressive, all right? And the last point I want to make is that people might not like hearing this, but it's true, all right? If you want to actually be able to defend yourself well, you have to be willing to go a little psycho. You have to be a little nuts, okay? Actually, very nuts, and you have to be, you have to be prepared to go a little psycho and really unleash hell on your opponent. All right. If you don't have the right mindset for that kind of thing, you should. You can do yoga. You can do other activities. Okay. But if you want to do martial arts and you want to actually be able to really make it work and fight effectively, you have to think this way. All right. So that's the thing. So a lot of people do martial arts. You can learn martial arts for a number of reasons. Okay, I'm not going to say that any reason is more valid than any other. All right, people want to learn to get in shape. Some people learn for spiritual balance. Some people learn it for they like the social or culture aspect of it. Okay, that's fine. That's all fine. I'm not going to put any of those down. Okay, that's fine. All right, but if you want to do it for actual effective self-defense, your ability to truly defend yourself and truly survive, you need to think this way, all right? Same thing if you're fighting in the ring, all right? But this is the mentality that you need to have, okay? So, I often go over techniques and drills and things like that, but it's all good. But unless you understand the context where you'll be using it, that's not going to matter, all right? And I was just dealing with a student last week, and I saw he was so defensive. So I just came in and then I rushed him. And I said, see, right there, you're too defensive. Someone's going to do that to you, okay? All right, but if you're always thinking, hey, you're always thinking forward, then that wouldn't have worked, all right? You always have to think of that way. Every single thing you do is a hit, okay? Or a deflection or a joint lock, but it's with the intention. You're still thinking hitting. Okay, maybe it is a deflection, okay, but I'm thinking hitting. If I do a high gun sound, okay, yeah, deflection, sure, but I still want to hit the guy in the face, bang, all right? So that's the mentality you need to have if you want to fight, okay? Always think hit, always think attack, okay, not defensive, okay? Joe Louis said that, the late great Joe Louis, American kickboxer, he said that there are two mindsets when you're fighting. You're either looking for something to hit on your opponent, or you're running for cover. Okay, so what's it going to be? Okay, now that being said, hey, there are times when you want to run for cover. Okay, if some guy pulls out a gun, okay, whatever, you'd be a fool to try and fight the guy. Okay, you get the hell out of there. Okay, so I mean, I'm not saying that as a negative thing, but if you made the decision that you want to actually go and attack and you want to actually fight, all right, well, there's no turning back. You can't go in half-assed and say, well, I'm going to fight, but I'm going to be really defensive about it. No. You have to be willing to go all in. You got to go kind of psycho, kind of like a Wolverine, and just go all in and just obliterate what's in front of you. Okay? Always think hit, always think attack. All right, that's the video. Any questions, as always, let me know. I'm planning to do my martial arts thing I do at the high school every year. I'm planning to do that the weekend, the Saturday after Victoria Day. Okay, I'm gonna get some more information about that soon. Okay, so there you go. Okay, soon.